Hey there, greetings from beautiful Jasper National Park, where we have a gloriously beautiful sunny day here, September 1st. Summer arrived. Yeehaw! So, this video is on A Course in Miracles, and I will admit freely at the outset that I have never read the book, and I'm not particularly familiar with it. However, I have, heard some of the basic concepts, and one of the basic concepts that I wanted to address and expand on is that of all actions committed by any individuals are either love, an expression of love, or else a call for love. And this is really one of the fundamental beliefs of A Course in Miracles, is a all-encompassing view of all beings essentially being love. And there are those who are expressing that, and then those who are denying that and expressing their desire for that through their misguided actions, which we otherwise call, bad, evil, abusive, harmful, etc. Now, I agree with this to an extent, but I do not agree whatsoever with this as an all-encompassing reality, that all beings are seeking love, and thus all actions are either love or a call for love. I do not agree with that at all. I do believe that many actions, which we would call harmful, we have all done things, hurt people, coming from a place of pain and of underneath that wanting and desiring love from that person, and simply lashing out reactively. So that is most certainly obviously a reality. However, as I understand it, there are in fact many beings, on this planet and elsewhere, who do not at this time desire love. And that is very important to recognize and come to terms with. It does not mean that all beings do not have the Spirit of God and of love at their core, which they are denying, repressing, and disconnected from. All beings do have that potential. However, all beings are not at this time calling for love. There are, in fact, many spirits, beings, individuals in the world who do not desire love at this time whatsoever, and in fact desire to be separated from love and from God. And that is a very important thing to understand, because you are wasting your time projecting love and kindness and forgiveness and compassion and empathy towards certain individuals who have absolutely zero interest in any of that, because their genuine desire at this time is not to move back in the direction of God. I do believe all consciousness comes from God, and thus all consciousness will eventually be reunited back with God. All beings are an expression of some aspect of God. There isn't two opposing forces of, God in heaven and the devil in hell battling it out. But we are all on a path away from God in some way, to some extent. We have all taken this, this spiritual journey of individuality, otherwise known as the ego, of, being separate from God and all that is, in order to have that experience. And many are now desiring to come back into a place of oneness, to at least, turn around and head back in the general direction of source energy, as they say, God, Allah, Yahweh, whatever terminology you prefer, Great Spirit. Yet some are still desiring to continue moving away and remaining separate. And those individuals need to be allowed to go and have their experience. And as I understand it, this time on planet Earth is the time of the great separation, what they call Michael's sword of truth, separating the wheat from the chaff. And at this time on Earth, there are all these different spirits all mixed up together. Such a wide variety of people with such very different intentions, motivations, desires for what they want in their life. Those who are wreaking havoc, creating wars, just out of fun and curiosity and greed and power-hungry desires, just for the excitement of having an influence on the world, however horrible it is, and to gratify their lack within, their disconnect from love. And then others who just want to live a fun, creative, playful, enjoyable, loving, free-flowing life. And all these different energies getting, mixed up and running into each other, and the paths of those who are on a path of love getting, messed up by those who are on a path of pure hatred and evil. And this is a time, where that paradigm, that reality is basically coming to a close, and there's going to be a separation. This is as I understand it. Who knows? And those who still need to live out those lessons of separation will be banished, as it were, not permanently, but for the time needed, from the embrace of God, and be cast out into darkness to other planets or whatever, where they can then have these experiences of separation and lack of love, and thus eventually come to a place of desiring love once again in their lives. But they can't come to that place until they are truly, completely separate and experience what that is like, and experience the lack of life that comes about as a result of being disconnected from God and from love. They need to have that experience and be separated from everyone else, because they're not learning their lessons, quite simply, as it is now. That to me is a very fundamental concept, to recognize those who truly do not desire love in their lives at this time. And there could be somebody in your own life, maybe not to that extent, but just think of your typical alcoholic or whatever, who you enable them by supporting them in that habit. And as long as you are there to trying to change them, trying to comfort them, and be there for them, when all you're doing is enabling them to stay in that place and in that addiction and imbalance and unhealthy point of view, when what they really need is to be forsaken and left to their own devices in order to completely create their own reality, which will probably be one of tremendous pain for a time, before they finally come to terms with what they are truly creating, so that they can then recognize their own responsibility and hopefully take that responsibility and make the choice within themselves to make that change that is necessary in order to genuinely change their direction. I have a generally positive view of A Course in Miracles, just based on what I've heard. But just because something, any teaching comes from a positive place or has powerful lessons does not mean that they are all completely accurate. And in my view and understanding, then that is one that is not fully accurate in a totality kind of a way. So that's my thoughts on the subject. Have a great day. Namaste.